Christos Anesti ec necron thanaton patisas, Ceti sentis mnimasi zoin charisamenos. Christos Anesti ec necron thanaton patisas, Cetis entis mnimasi zoin charisamenos. Christ is risen from the dead, by death trampling down upon death, and to those in the tombs he has granted life. Christ is risen from the dead, by death trampling down upon death, and to those in the tombs he has granted life.
Even if thou didst descend into the tomb, O immortal one, still thou hast overthrown the power of Hades, and thou hast arisen as victor, Christ God. To the women bearing incense thou hast said, Hail, and on thy apostles thou hast bestowed peace, thou who dost offer resurrection to the fallen. When the women arrived at thy tomb and did not find thy undefiled body, weeping, they said through their tears,
Could he have been stolen, he who effected the cure of the women with the issue of blood? Would he not have arisen, he who, even before his passion, foretold his resurrection? Truly, Christ is arisen, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
To the son before son, who had then sunk in the tomb, the young women bearing incense hastened towards the dawn, as though seeking day, and saying to one another,
O friends, come let us anoint with spices the body, life-bringing and buried, the flesh which resurrects the fallen Adam, which lies here in the tomb. Let us go, let us hasten like the Magi, and let us kneel down and bring with us the spices as gifts, not to him in swaddling clothes, but to him wrapped in a shroud. And let us weep and cry out, O Master, arise, thou who dost offer resurrection to the fallen.
When the holy women were saying these things to each other, they considered another idea, which is full of wisdom. And they said to one another,
Women, why are we self-deceived? For surely the Lord is not in the tomb. Up until now, it would have been held in subjection. One who controls the breath of living beings? Would he still be a buried corpse? Unbelievable! This idea does not bear examination. Therefore, let us then take careful thought and act as follows. Let Mary leave and go see the tomb, and let us act in conformity with what she says. For most certainly, as he foretold, the immortal one has arisen, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
The wise women, having made arrangements according to this plan, no doubt sent forward Mary Magdalene to the tomb, as the theologian says. It was dark, but love lighted the way for her, and so she saw the great stone rolled away from the entrance of the tomb. And she returned and said,
Disciples, learn what I saw, and do not keep secret what you understand. The stone no longer covers the tomb. Would they have taken away my Lord? For the guards are not there. They have fled. Would he not have risen? He who offers resurrection to the fallen?
When Cephas and the son of Zebedee heard this, immediately they ran as though in a race with one another, and John was first before Peter. However, on his arrival, he did not go within the sepulchre, but he waited for the leader, so that like a lamb he would follow the shepherd, and it was truly fitting this way. For to Peter he said,
Peter, do you love me? Then tend my sheep at your pleasure.
And to Peter he promised,
Blessed Simon, I shall give you the keys of the kingdom.
For Peter, he had formerly subdued the waves on which Peter was walking, he who offers resurrection to the fallen. But, as I was just saying, Peter and the son of Zebedee came up to the tomb after what Mary had said, and they entered into it, but they did not find the Lord. So that, terrified by this, the Holy One said,
For what reason would he have not appeared to us? Can it be that he considered our liberty too great? For we have been very daring. For we ought to have stayed outside, and I looked around at the things in the tomb. For this tomb is really not a tomb, but in truth it is the dwelling of God. For he was in it, and he dwelt in it, of his will, he who offers resurrection to the fallen. Has our liberty then turned into boldness, and our courage been considered rather than presumptuous? For it is for this reason, perhaps, that he is not seen by the unworthy.
As the true friends of the Creator talked like this to one another, Mary, who followed them, said,
Initiates of the Lord, and you who truly love him warmly, do not assume this, but just wait. Do not lose heart. For what has happened was the divine plan, in order that women who were the first to fall might be the first to see the resurrected one. He wishes the greeting, Hail, to be a sign of grace to us who mourn. He who offers resurrection to the fallen.
Mary, when she had fully reassured herself in this way, remained at the tomb after the holy women had gone away, for she truly believed that the body had been raised up. And so she cried out, not with words, but with tears.
Woe is me, my Jesus, where have they taken you? How dost thou endure, immortal one, to be lifted up by dishonored hands? Holy, 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 cry. The six-winged ones with many eyes, and their shoulders can scarcely carry thee. Yet did the hands of deceivers lift thee up? The forerunner in baptizing thee cried out, Do thou baptize me? Thou who offset the resurrection to the fallen. Lo, thou who dost renew all things art dead for 3 days. Thou who didst raise up Lazarus on the 4th day, and showing him moving, though bound in grave clothes, thou thus lie in the tomb, and how I wish that I knew where thou art buried, so that like the harlot I might bathe with tears, not only thy feet, but truly thy whole body, and even thy sepulchre. Saying, Master, just as thou dost raise up the son of the widow, raise up thyself. Thou who didst give life to the daughter of Jairus, why dost thou still remain in the tomb? Arise, stand up, and be revealed to those who seek thee. Thou who dost offer resurrection to the fallen.
Conquered by her weeping and touched by her suffering, He who sees all, beholding Mary Magdalene, at once was moved to pity, and was revealed, as he said to the young woman,
Woman, why do you weep? Whom do you wish within the tomb?
Then Mary turned and said,
I weep because they have taken away my Lord from the tomb, and I do not know where he lies. Is not this entirely your work? For unless I am mistaken, you are the gardener. In any case, if you have taken away the body, tell me, and I shall take my Redeemer. He is my teacher, my Lord, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
He who searches the hearts and reigns and watches over them, knowing that Mary would recognize his voice like a shepherd, called his crying lamb, saying,
Mary?
She at once recognized him and spoke.
Surely my wonderful shepherd calls me, in order that hereforth he may number me among the 99 lambs. For I see behind him who calls me the bodies of the saints, the ranks of the just. And so I do not say, Who art thou who callest me? For I know clearly who he is who calls me. It is my teacher, my Lord, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
Carried away by the warmth of her affection and by her fervent love, the maiden hastened and wished to seize him, the one who fills all creation without being confined by boundaries. But the Creator did not find fault with her eagerness. He lifted her to the divine when he said,
Do not touch me. Or do you consider me merely human? I am God. Do not touch me. O holy woman, lift up your eyes and consider the heavenly spheres. Seek me there, for I ascend to my Father, whom I have not left. For I share his throne, and with him I am without time and beginning, I who offer resurrection to the fallen. Let your tongue, woman, publish these things for the rest of time, and let it explain them to the sons of the kingdom, and to those who eagerly await resurrection of me, the living. Hasten, Mary, and gather together my disciples. I use you as a trumpet with a powerful voice. Sound forth peace to the fearful ears of my concealed friends. Arouse them all from asleep, in order that they may come to greet me and light torches. Say, the bridegroom has arisen from the tomb, and nothing has been left in the tomb. O apostles, banish deadness, since he is arisen, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
When she clearly understood all the words of the word, the maiden turned and spoke to her companions.
Wonderful are the things, women, which I have seen and will describe. Let no one consider my words as idle talk, for I have not had a dream, but I have been inspired. I am filled with a divine conversation with Christ. Learn how and when. When the men with Peter left me, I stood weeping near the tomb, for I thought that the divine body of the immortal had been taken away from the tomb. But immediately, taking pity on my tears, he appeared to me, he who offers resurrection to the fallen. Suddenly sorrow has been changed to joy, and all has become joyous and a cause of rejoicing. I do not hesitate to say, I have been glorified as Moses, for I have seen, not on the mountain but in the tomb, not concealed by a cloud but by flesh, the Lord of the immortals and of the clouds, Lord of old, now and forever. And he said, Mary, hasten and tell those who love me that I have arisen. Take me on your tongue like a branch of the olive. To the descendants of Noah, announce the good news, pointing out to them that death is destroyed and that he has arisen, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
Vicitmae paschali laudes, emolent Christiani, annus redemit oves, Christus innocens patri, filia vit peccatores, mors et vita duello, conflixere mirando, dux vitae mortus, regnat vivus. Dic nobis Maria, quid fidisti in via, sepulcrum Christi viventis, et gloriam vidi resurgentis. Angelicos testes, sudarium et festes, surrexit Christus spes mea, precedens suos in Galilea. Scimus Christum surrexissem, a mortuis ferre, tu nobis victor rex miserere. Amen. Alleluia.
When they heard this, the group of reverent young women answered Mary Magdalene with one accord.
It is the truth which you speak, and we all agree with you. We do not disbelieve you, but we are amazed at one thing alone, that he was in the tomb up until now, and that the life was numbered among the dead, and was held for 3 days. For it was to be expected, and we hoped that he would come out from the earth, and so we said, formerly he delivered his servant from the whale. How can he be conquered by death? If he collected his due from the wild beast, he will rise from the tomb, he who offers resurrection to the fallen. Do not think, Holy One, that your tale is halting. You have spoken to us directly, and nothing was faltering in your remarks. Your speech was sincere, and your manner was appropriate. However, Mary, we wish to share with you so that not just one among us fares luxuriously, while all the rest remain dead without a taste of that life and excluded from it. For there be many voices along with you to put a seal upon your testimony. Let us all go to the tomb and confirm the vision. Let it be shared, friend, this glory which he offered you, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
Speaking thus, the group of God-inspired women left the city along with the narrator, and seeing the tomb cried out from a distance,
Behold the place, or rather the immaculate womb. Behold the spot which bore the King. Behold what contained the one whom the heavens do not contain, but the saints do contain. Praise to you, a hymn to you, holy tomb, small yet very large, poor yet rich, treasury of life, holder of peace, symbol of joy, sepulchre of Christ, monument of one man, but glory to the world, since voluntarily he offers resurrection to the fallen.
After having sung hymns of praise to the tomb of the giver of life, they turned and saw the one seated upon the stone. And from fright they drew back, and feeling awe, they turned aside their faces, and with fear they said this,
What is this figure? Whose shape is this? Who is this whom we behold? An angel? A man? Has he come from on high? Or has he just arisen into our presence from below? He is fire. He sends forth light. His glance is like lightning. He shines. Let us flee, maidens, lest we be consumed. O divine, heavenly shower, descend on those who thirst for thee, thou who offerest resurrection to the fallen. The words of thy divine mouth, like drops of moisture, will now refresh us, O grace of the afflicted, life of all, so that we may not die from terror.
This, I imagine, was the prayer of the God-loving women, so that the one seated on the stone was touched. And he said to the holy women,
Do not you be afraid, but the men who guard the tomb will tremble, cower in fear, and be deadened from fear of me, in order that they may learn that he is the Lord of the angels. He whom they now guard, but whom they do not control, for the Lord is risen, and they do not know how he has roused himself, he who offers resurrection to the fallen. Henceforth, be immortal, women. Do not be subject to death. You seek to behold the Creator of angels. Then why do you fear the sight of one angel? I am the servant of the one who inhabited the tomb. I have the rank and the nature of a slave. As I have been commanded, I am here to announce to you, the Lord is risen. He has broken the bronze doors of Hades, and he has crushed his iron bars. And he has brought prophecy to fulfillment, and exalted the horn of the saints. Come, see, young women, where the immortal was lying, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
Taking a commendable courage from the voice of the angel, the women wisely answered as follows.
Truly, the Lord is risen, as you say. You have proved to us by your words and by your attitude that the merciful one has risen. For if he had not raised up and departed from the tomb, you yourself would not be seated. For when would a soldier of the king be seated and conversing if the king were present? Indeed, if such things are not in order on earth, certainly they are not done on high, where there is the invisible throne and the ineffable one is seated, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
The women, with mingled joy and fear, rejoicing and sorrow, turned away from the tomb, as the Bible teaches, to meet the apostles, and they said,
Why are you disheartened? Why do you hide your faces? Lift up your hearts, Christ is risen. Form choruses and say along with us, the Lord is risen. He has shone forth, he who was created before the dawn. Do not be downcast, but take courage. Spring has appeared, come to bloom, ye branches, producing fruit and not misery. Let us all clap our hands and say, He has returned to life, he who offers resurrection to the fallen.
When the men heard this and were rejoicing in the words, they were immediately astonished and said to the women,
What is this, women? Do you understand what you say?
He both spoke and showed us. In fact, the God of the angels and the Creator was seen by Mary and said, Tell my people, the Lord is risen. Come then, like rams, like sheep, Let us all of the flock skip as we say, Our Shepherd, come, gather together those of us who were scattered through fear. Thou hast tread upon death. Come near those who love thee, thou who dost offer resurrection to the fallen. O Savior, let my dead spirit be raised up with thee. Let not grief destroy my spirit, and hereafter may it not forget the songs which sanctify it. Yes, merciful one, I beg thee not to scorn me, though I am covered with many faults. For in impiety and sin my mother conceived me. My Father, holy and full of compassion, may thy name always be holy, in my mouth and spirit, in my voice and my song. Grant to me grace as I herald thy hymns, since thou hast power, thou who dost offer resurrection to the fallen.
Early on that Easter morn, Mary Magdalena came forlorn. What found she where our Lord was laid, but arrayed. The angel greeted her and said,